And let's just wait to see if we are on live.
Are we? I don't see anything in Facebook though.
Yes, and we are on live. Let me just hang on to wait for the lag. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are on live. And if you do see this feed that's coming your way, um, if you do see this feed that's coming your way, you're looking at um, Vicky Esther Chang here, live from Singapore. And please share this to as many friends as possible. And I'm sharing it to my own group, the Platinum Platform. And if this pushes to your eyeball on your handphone wherever you are, follow us. Not that I need followers, but we're going to bring a lot of different kind of genre of coffee table talk or supper talk with everyone. And we are here at 10 p.m. Singapore time on the 26th June 2025. And what you see behind us is the Marina Bay Sands, the iconic symbol of beautiful, warm, sunny city state of Singapore. And I am your warm host, Vicky Esther Chang. And this is just a very social evening supper talk or a girl talk between myself and my girlfriend, Prita. Prita, would you like to say a couple of words to our live audience? Someone is really looking in already.
Hi, hello, hi everybody. How are you doing, Vicky?
Yeah, Prita, tell us, you just came back from somewhere, right? You kind of like rushed to have this planned live podcast that is unannounced to the public, and whomever is within the universe that can feel the energy, they will come in. So, Prita, would you like to tell us like where did you rush back from?
Wow, rush back. Okay, I would say that yeah, because just recently I went to Italy and it was really fun. Just a short holiday. I wouldn't say it was very long. And I had a great time there, but then I had to go back to work again, return to work. So yeah, I would say it was a short holiday, but I did
Yeah.
a lot of things like, walking around and seeing attractions and all those things.
Yes, and I want to thank you for the earrings that you bought. It's so beautiful. It's just something that I like. Italy, you just came back from Italy and you showed a lot of pictures online. I know, and ladies and viewers, you can follow Prita and myself. We're going to talk about a lot of social talk. Today is just an evening supper talk, and Prita just came back from Italy. And I've been to Italy. I love, love, love Italy. Um, I went to Venice, Florence. I love different parts of Italy. But though you just have to be really careful about security and privacy issues there. And I went to Rome and the ancient city of Pompeii, and also went
It's
to
good.
I kind of passed by Milan, and we did drive by Tuscany, and I really love Sorrento, and then I took a ferry to Capri, which is beautiful. Capri, I love it so much, and of course, you can't miss Venice, St. Mark's Square. With all the gondola, is so beautiful, so romantic, but it does have a dark history in Venice. I wonder if you know that. But let's talk about your trip. Did you enjoy your trip, Prita? And how much did you spend?
Spend? Are you talking about
Money is
dollars
a
and cents?
sensitive. Yeah, I mean, like your flight plus what flight did you go?
Okay,
What flight
so
was that?
we actually went to Istanbul first, like there's a transit over there.
Hmm.
And then after that we went directly to I- Italy, which is Venice at first. So we
Hmm.
stayed like for a short time in Venice, probably like just one night. And then following that, we went to Florence and then we went
Mm.
finally to Rome. We also did a day tour to Siena and I think the place, yes, Pisa. We saw the Leaning Tower of Pisa and all. That was really, really fun. I think for me, culturally, I think I enjoy Italian food like pasta, pizza. Also, you see a lot of nice things over there. They have lots of nice little souvenir shops. They've got lots of nice, boutique shops with nice clothes and nice jewelry. Very artistic, very creatively handicraft, handicraft stuff. Yeah, I would say it's like very unique to
Now,
go
just
there.
to
It was a
inform you
very good
people who are
experience.
just looking at us right now, welcome to Singapore, wherever you are. Look at the numbers, they're coming in and out. Welcome, and if you would like to come in and join us, please comment below and join in with us through your comments. Prita, let's just be really social this time because we had this talk, right? State of our world, and we talked about women and girls and how we have changed, but really because state of our world right now is in a total madness. So I just really want to calm down, not talk about the state of our world, the external world, but let's talk about internal world. That's why we're talking about travel in this show. We will talk about travel, talk about girls talk, fashion, makeup, food, dieting, longevity, recipes, anti-aging recipes. I love to talk about some of these ancient cultural recipes that's good for health. The lots of things that will flow. Prita, that's an interruption because we've got people coming in and out. Hi, Prita. Would you like to say hi to the people looking at us right now,
Hi,
wherever they are?
everyone. I can see the
That's the
viewers
wonderful
also.
of technology, right?
Yes.
Aprita, you were in Italy. You traveled a lot. Did you feel safe because you were traveling alone with your husband, I believe, with your boyfriend, with a girlfriend, with your group of friends? Socially, you were on. Did you feel safe in Europe as opposed to in Singapore, for example?
Okay, so generally, we have this idea that Europe may not be safe. I've heard from
Yeah.
my friends because they shared experiences. There are
Mm,
people who will just come to you and try to
mm,
take your wallet and things like that. So
yeah.
I think as a family, when we went there, we are
Yeah.
together as a family, all of us, we went
Yeah.
there. I think it was
Yeah.
quite okay. I think there are a lot of
Yeah.
tourists now traveling to Europe and Italy
Yeah.
specifically. So I will say nothing happened, nothing terrible happened. It was a
Yeah.
very enjoyable experience. It was very safe, and
Yeah.
I focused more on taking pictures, creating the
Wow.
memories.
Creating
Like when I go to a
memories.
nice attraction, I just try to take as many selfies as possible of my family
Yeah.
members. I think that's really amazing. It's about just thinking about how to take pictures and all. I went to a couple of palaces as well. I went to PT
Yeah.
Palace. I think that was really amazing because they even had a museum in there.
Wow.
And I'm
Wow.
into chandelier
Yeah, and
lights.
you went to the Vatican City, right? I've been there, and they
Yes.
just installed the new Pope, right?
Yes, the Vatican City is really amazing. Okay. I mean,
Hmm.
everything about Vatican City is just beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
I must say that one thing is I was very fortunate to
Yeah.
visit that place. Very
Yeah.
fortunate. It's just I didn't
Yeah.
get to see the Pope at that time, but I managed to walk around Vatican. I managed to go into the
Yeah.
church. I managed to go into
To go into the Sistine Chapel
yes, that
inside.
one I did that as well. And they were very
Yeah.
strict. They said we cannot take pictures in there.
Photos.
Yes,
Yeah, the
Sistine Chapel.
Michelangelo.
Yeah, they cannot take pictures and they're very strict about that. But honestly, I think, going there is just something that I will remember for a very long time. I have the photos
Hmm.
with me. I posted in social media. My students, some
Yes.
of them commented. They say, wow, it's so amazing. The places are so beautiful. I even told my students, why don't you all
Yeah.
one day plan to go to Italy? It's really
Yeah.
fun. You
Yeah.
should go with your family and things like that. And they
Yeah.
were also looking forward to it. I shared my experiences with my students culturally and all that. I think yes, I actually went to several churches. I just went in to see,
The
what is it like.
Basilica.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to the one in Venice as well. I think yeah, I think it was very amazing,
St.
the
Mark's Square. Yeah.
architecture
Beautiful.
itself is beautiful.
Yeah.
And in Rome as well, okay, there are
Wow.
lots of beautiful Roman statues that have been preserved for several years. I will say, I'm very fortunate to go there again, really. I've been there
Mm.
many years ago when I was a teenager, and I'm back again
Mm.
to see
After all these
Rome.
years, right?
I mean Italy, basically, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the beautiful history of Europe. That is their history. I mean, it stays there; it doesn't change, which is good because it's the whole city, the whole town. It's almost like just frozen in history. I remember now that you talk about Italy and your Europe trip. I love different parts of Europe. I remember particularly at Pompeii, at the city of Pompeii, which I think you didn't go, the city of ruins. I went there with my family, particularly. I remember warmly with my mom. We took a lot of pictures, and yeah, that was a beautiful time. I was with my sister, um, with her friends. We were in a tour group, and with my mom. She was young, healthy, beautiful. She's a really beautiful, and I remember we took pictures at Pompeii, and then we took pictures in different parts of Italy, particularly in Rome, because the modern city that people are living right now is actually built on some of ancient cities, right? Many ancient cities throughout the centuries. So if you go into Rome, you're actually standing in the middle of different historical ruins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that brings you kind of like, or even in the Colosseum, right? When you are at the Colosseum in Rome, which I saw you taking your pictures there. I was there too, and I mean, it brings me back to those movies whereby the gladiators were just like fighting
Well,
at,
I
at
know.
ancient Rome.
So
Yeah,
amazing, right?
it's just so breathtaking. And to talk about that part of history that we are now evolving into artificial intelligence and talking to you through the internet and showing us to the internet world, wherever they are, the US, whomever are looking at us right now, type below, tell us where you come from, and even give us your name. Welcome to Singapore. Yeah, that's the marvel of technology we're talking about. And you just came back from Italy. Are you planning on the next holiday vacation, Prita?
Yes, I'm planning for another trip.
Yeah. Where are you
Hopefully
going?
in September to visit
Mm-hmm.
some family members as well again.
Yeah.
Sydney particularly, because I
Mm.
also studied in Australia before. I think previously we had a chat about
Yeah.
Australia. I'm going
Yeah.
to visit my uni friends that whom I
Yeah.
know for many years. So I will say, yeah, I hope everything will go well and I can go and visit them soon in September.
I would love Australia because Australia is so strict. You can't bring in any of the food item, not even dried food, not even packets of instant noodles,
Yes,
right?
very
That's about
strict,
the kind
correct.
of very, very strict entry rules, Prita, for
Okay,
Australia.
whenever I go to Australia, I will avoid bringing all those things. Okay. But there were cases where
Yep.
I mean, some of my family members, they will
Yep.
request to, certain kind of local food, delicacies, they will ask me to bring. And then I will
Mm.
just declare in that form. And I think it shouldn't be a
Mm.
problem. I think most of the time they ask will be like desserts and things like that. Yeah, as
Mm.
long as you don't bring like meat stuff, like poultry and things like that, then it should be
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Mm.
Don't have to
Yeah.
declare.
And what about like instant noodles? I remember there was a time where my friend, um, he had his I know, students are always traveling, right? And ladies and gentlemen, if looking at us now, the eyeballs are rolling. We're talking about travel today. We're going to talk a little bit about some of these topics in the future that we will share on the new show. It's My Life, the 3 a.m. conversation that you hope you had, or the 3 a.m. conversation that you wish you could have had. It's a wish. It's about life. It's about anything, the emotional parts of life, the sensitive parts of life, the finer things in life that you miss out. So we present you this particular podcast to reminisce about life, about some of the memories, about the journeys that you've gone through. That's where it's gonna be. We're gonna announce that in the Facebook later on. But yeah, Prita, we talked about travel. Now we are talking about Australia. I remember, Singaporeans being the one of the most well traveled um, people on earth, because it's been this study has been done. We are one of the most well traveled people on earth. We're one of the most well informed. I should say the women are one of the most well informed people in the world. As a student, we travel a lot. And I think one of my friends, when they tried to go to Australia, they had their whole luggage ransacked and checked, and then all this instant noodles taken away from them because I think they were undeclared or that it was stated very clearly that they can't even bring in dried food like instant noodles. Does that happen?
Very sure about instant noodles, but from what I understand, like if you have to declare if you bring certain meat,
Yeah,
like I'm not
meat.
sure about instant, yeah. But I think it's better to be
Yeah,
safe, right? Like say if
yeah,
you want to spend a lot of time waiting in the queue,
yeah,
talking to the officers and all that,
yeah,
then it will take up a lot of your time. So normally I wouldn't bring all those things. But yes, they're
yeah,
very strict. They also check
yeah.
whether there's any soil or mud in your shoes, they
Yes.
check all that. They will expect you to wash it down and stuff like
Organic, yep. Which I do appreciate because during the COVID times, Australia and New Zealand, they had such strict rules. They were trying so hard to prevent the virus from coming in. So it goes to show that they have such a strict restriction for good reasons, of course, because they wanted to protect their wealth of their agriculture, their pristine natural environment in Australia. Ken, now let's talk about Australia. Have you seen like weird animals? Because I heard that the biggest and the worst poisonous animals or living things come from Australia, like the black widow.
Oh, you're talking about spiders, I think.
Yep.
Well,
Have
yes,
you
there are
seen
some
them?
very poisonous. I
Yep.
don't recall, but I think I've seen a
Yep.
redback spider. I might have
That-
seen a redback
na-
spider.
They're native,
Redback.
right?
Yes, they're native, and I think I've also seen a huntsman spider as well.
Wow.
They can be quite poisonous. Particularly, I
Mm.
heard about stories and all that. So you got to be very
Yep.
careful. They can hide anywhere in your house. If you see one, do not go near them. Do not touch them. Because they can harm you. Yeah, that's the thing.
Mm.
There
Wow.
are also blue tongue lizards. I don't know whether you have heard
Wow.
about it. Blue tongue lizards, they
Not.
are harmless. Let me
Yeah.
see. They are pretty cute and small, and as long as you don't disturb them, it's fine. And you cannot catch them and all those things, because in by
Yeah.
the Australian law states that you
Yeah.
cannot actually
Harm
catch
them.
those. Yeah, you cannot harm them.
Wow.
They
I
are like
love
native to the
that.
country and all those things. Yeah, they'll stay in
Wow.
your garden. They will live in your garden, eat the fruit
And you
sometimes.
can't you can't you can't like remove them. There are laws to protect them.
Actually, yeah, there are laws to protect them. You shouldn't harm them or hurt them, basically.
Wow.
I've seen them in a lot of times in Australia. They're everywhere.
Wow. I mean, that's the beautiful part of Australia, right? The strictness of respect to the nature. And I really respect them for having such regulations. I remember when I was in France, I was looking at property. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about travel. We're going to talk about some of these things that just come up because we're just having this supper talk, supper girl talk between Prita and myself, and we invite you, those who are looking at us right now, so actually tell us where you're from and whom you are. Um, I remember when I was in France, I was looking at this property that has, I think, multiple rooms, almost like 9 rooms. I think they were running their own B&B. Chambre d'hôte, they call it. That means rooms of hotel or just B&B, but regulated B&B because it's regulated. It's called, a B&B. I mean, it's popular and common in Britain. So I went to see this particular B&B in France, and they have about 9 rooms and well renovated by the owner himself. And then they have a pool. I was looking at it and I was like, oh, by the way, how much are you selling this? Because I was looking at, the classified ads, some of these property ads, and I went there to take a look at the property and really curious about some of these real estate. They were selling at a good price, which I'm not going to reveal. They're selling at a very good price outside the city. And then I was asking them in the garden, wow, there's such a big, huge tree flourishing right in the middle of the garden, just beside the swimming pool. You know what, Prita? I asked them, can I cut this tree down? It's like blocking my way and it's blocking the view. And you know what? The owners have such a horrified look on their faces. It's like as if I'm a murderer. You're gonna cut
Right.
down the tree? I was like shocked myself. It's like, why do you look at me as if I'm a murderer? Like I'm gonna kill someone. I was like, oh, okay, okay, okay. I'm not gonna cut down the tree. So there's certain countries that really protect the environment, and I appreciate that. As we talk about climate change, global warming, or whatever terminologies we call it, we are human. We are just ravishing nature wherever we go. We are occupying. We become the occupants. We come in. We take over the land. We chase away the animals. We kill the trees. We burn the forest because we want to kind of flatten it for development. And I'm not saying that it is bad. Okay, development is really, really good. I'm just saying the other side of things is that this is something that we do. But I do now kind of appreciate nature um, and animals. What they bring to us really calm our souls down. So I do appreciate a country like in New Zealand and in Australia, whereby they have such strict laws that you can't contravene because they protect the animals, they protect the land, and they do not want you to encroach into the livelihood or the habitats of the animals. So, is there any parks or any places that stood out for you in Australia while you were while you were living there?
I would just say that, Australia is so huge. Okay. I mean, there's so
Wow.
many things to do. There are places like national parks. I remember going to the Royal National Park. Okay.
Wow.
And there are lots of beautiful, like, birds flying around and all that. You're not supposed to catch them or do anything. You just have to just look at them. I remember that. And then
Admire them.
admire that kind of a thing. Or
Wow.
basically,
Love that.
people actually, they just go there to appreciate the beauty and the nature. And
Wow.
then
I
I
love
remember
that.
going to, yeah, Phillip
Totally love
Island.
that. Phillip
Oh
Island.
yeah, Phillip Island
Tell
is
us
in
about that. I've not heard about that. Tell the audience while looking at us now. What's Phillip Island? What's that place?
okay. All right, so Phillip Island, basically, let me see, it's not Perth, sorry, it's Melbourne, somewhere near
Yeah.
Melbourne. Now I remember
Yeah.
that. So what you
Yeah.
can do is it's like a tour thing, you got to book this tour in TripAdvisor or something.
Mm,
And then
mm,
when you go there, okay, they'll bring you to this place where there'll
mm.
be so they call this the little penguins.
Wow.
They will actually parade around the Phillip Island. There'll be a certain time they will come out from the sea, and then they will go to their
Wow.
certain homes within the island. I'm not very sure like how often to do that, but I remember that certain times
Yeah.
these penguins, right, they migrate and then they come to Phillip Island and things like that. So but it's
Mm.
very cool. Yes, it's somewhere near Melbourne. It's not Perth, I
Wow.
think, but I also have been to Perth
Wow.
also.
Yeah.
And I would say, the thing about this place is really beautiful. It's a very
Yeah.
small island. There are
Yeah.
not many people living there, and it's really amazing to see these penguins all over walking around. Yeah, so it's pretty cool actually. And then for
Yeah.
for the Perth
And
that I
they're real
went to,
penguins, right?
Mhm.
I mean, they're
Sorry?
penguins as in they're real wild penguins. They're not like being
Yes,
controlled
they're
by human
wild, but they're
or in a zoo. No.
no, they are just all over. They're just parading everywhere. As in, like they just come
Wow.
out from the sea, and people just take
Yeah.
videos or photos of these penguins. That's what
I love
happens.
that. I love that.
Yeah,
As development goes so fast, you just want to pull back and kind of like appreciate some of these finer things of the world of life. We are not made up. We are not made up to be human, right? We're not made up to be machines. We're not
correct.
made up to
Yes,
be machines that just run like a hamster on a treadmill. We're not. we're not a groundhog um, that just keep running every day. But the thing is that we are put in such a situation, isn't it? I mean, you're working every day. Myself, I'm working. I'm doing so many things at the same time. Different kind of projects. I'm writing. I'm teaching, going to various schools, and also doing my podcast and actually doing pushing out different projects with different people. I enjoy my life, but sometimes you do have to have that kind of spiritual balance so that your soul still sits on peace, which is really hard to kind of, I should say it's a luxury right now in times like this, that you can get a space whereby you feel there is some peace within your soul that you can kind of like calm down and not fight or shout that the state of the world is right now. So again, I also hope that the show, Prita, to announce to you and to announce your audience who are looking at us right now, I'm going to have a digital radio show that hopefully will go on Facebook and YouTube and all the other platforms also. Um, it's called the Green Network. So yeah, it has this green in it. It's actually owned by Jamel E. Thomas, another international collaborator. I'll give the link for people to actually download. A shout out to Jamel E. Thomas, my co-author and also my collaborator from the U.S. from Michigan. Um, he has an app which I am planning to be on. We're going to have this show called It's My Life, the 3 a.m. conversation that you wish you could have had before. So hope that people can tune in or people can write or text to me that you like to be on the show, or you like to just give a comment about life, or about your life. So that's going to be the show where we are just going to have a coffee table talk to actually calm the world down. Prita, do you think the world is too fast, Prita?
You mean fast moving?
Yeah.
I think it really depends on where you are
Fast
staying and
changing, fast
yeah,
changing,
things
fast
are.
moving.
I would say yes. I do agree with technology, digital. Now the digital environments. Okay, with social media, you got to learn how to use social media these days. I think
Yeah.
yes, it's very fast moving, and I think in a way it can be good also because you learn a lot of things. Yeah, how to use
Yeah.
certain technologies and improve yourself, how to market a business, for example. I think, yes, I really agree with that statement that it is
It's
very fast
moving.
moving.
It is moving very fast, and we are trying to keep up with it. And also, in the talk, in the radio show, we'll talk about some of the girls' talk, like fashion, the food that you eat. I don't know, diets, fashion, makeup, stress, career choices, preferences, color. Travel, anything that actually you want to have the kind of balance in your life besides just work, work, and work. So I hope that ladies and gentlemen can tune in, and people who are just looking at us in and out, I hope that you can tune in where when the show starts, and I'm going to put in the link and the app that you can download. Green Radio Network, yes, it's called Green Radio Network, owned by Jamel Thomas. Great radio because you've got different kinds of genre of music. Before we go, Frida, how do you unwind? Is there kind of a songs that you used to like and then kind of evolve as you as time moves, your kind of love for the music changes.
Actually, I do listen to quite a number of songs.
Yeah,
I used to listen to Justin Bieber music, Justin Bieber songs, and
Justin
then I
Bieber.
also, yeah, his songs are pretty good. Like some of the songs, right? The words that he used, right? It means there are some, like, I don't know, like the music is pretty nice to listen to whenever
Mm,
whenever I'm stressed at work
yeah,
or anything like that.
yeah.
I think nowadays I also listen to songs like in the Indian music industry. I watch a lot of Indian movies. I also listen to
Mm,
songs from there
yeah.
as well.
Mm,
I think sometimes just listening to music helps me to relax.
yeah.
Yeah, but many years ago when I was a teenager, I used to listen to songs like Green Day, Boulevard
Green
of Broken
Day.
Dreams. Boulevard of Broken
Wow.
Dreams. That song is a
Sounds
pretty
familiar.
famous, yeah, pretty famous song. Good
The
Charlotte.
but
I remember my classmates and I, we
oh
were all
yeah,
listening
yeah, yeah. I've
to Good
heard, heard,
Charlotte,
heard, heard.
Green Day, Good Charlotte, and Simple Plan. I used to listen to those songs. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I would say nowadays they do perform some of them, and Linkin Park as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Linkin
yeah.
Park, yeah, I like their songs as well. I mean, I do
Mm,
listen whenever I get a chance. I mean, even YouTube also, I like to watch the videos. And I also do
mm,
this DJ thing nowadays, which I went for course, and
yeah.
I try to,
Yeah, tell
get some
us.
songs. Oh, so I went for a course and I learned
Mm,
how to DJ and stuff like that. And I bought this DJ equipment and then I kept
yes.
trying it out. So I started off using it with Indian songs, and then I also tried it out with English songs. And sometimes,
Wow.
it's about being creative, mixing the songs, and
Yeah.
not only that, enjoying the music. That's the most important
Wow.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
you need
do
the
like,
software.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think music is important because it kind of like it speaks to your soul, right? Because
Yes.
it's the music, even with words, right? I mean, it's like poetry, isn't it? Lyrics is just like poetry. It kind of speaks to your soul, the inner part of your part. It kind of like if you can kind of sync YNC,
See.
right?
Hmm.
Sing. If you can kind of sync with that music, kind of speaks to you. It's almost like poetry, something that kind of speaks to you because there is a need in your soul that something connects with your soul. So I think music is important. I do like music a lot. I do listen to a lot of classicals. I used to have this podcast show. Which is called Elevating Civilization. That I interviewed artists, painters, and I've got this artist called Preet Shrivastava. Preet Shrivastava is an Indian American who resides in New York. She used to have her own art gallery. I interviewed her, impressionistic artist, and then Rob, can't remember her full name, but I was just texting him. Rob, yes, this is one of his paintings. I hope to share with you. He's going to be on the show.
That's
There's a,
nice.
this is a waterfall. It's actually a blind artist. So he's certified. I think he's like um, 70% visually challenged. So he's got in the show, in the podcast, he explained how he actually paints. He kind of like uses special kind of glasses that brings a kind of light into the eyes. And then he's able to see the colors only with that kind of glasses. And whenever he paints, he has got to put a kind of a sticky note so that he knows he kind of ended there with this paint. Sometimes we take it for granted about our organs, right?
Yep.
Our lives. But for someone who's visually challenged and to be an artist at the same time, that speaks so much about the resilience. And that speaks so much about the human spirit. And hopefully, Rob can come up in the show to talk about his art with us again. And I also have Gayatri. Well, Gayatri is actually a classical pianist. She's in her 70s. She plays the piano and she travels from Seattle to India. She used to live in Seattle, but in my show, she actually played the classical music and we live streamed her pieces when she was playing. It was beautiful because there are some of the things that the podcast can do. So she was playing it in both times in Seattle and also in India. So I had that experience with her. So, ladies and gentlemen, come back to us. Hopefully, we can talk about the spirit of the human spirit. I should say, the core of the human spirit, elevating our lives, elevating our souls, keep ourselves calm and at peace and in harmony with each other and in harmony with nature. I think the world needs so much of that right now. Prita, it's 35 minutes almost. I'm so glad to have you with us. Prita, tell us what's your plan for the rest of the week? in the next like 3 minutes and wrap up this show
Oh,
as my co-host.
rest of the week. I think tomorrow
What's your plan?
I have to go and teach. I'll be having lectures tomorrow. I think that's all about it for now. I'm just thinking about tomorrow first,
Yeah,
and I got some assignments to grade, and
yeah,
that's the next thing that I need to do.
yeah,
Meanwhile, I think I'm not really sure. I might be going for a movie probably. Um, yeah. So I might be going for a movie. So I mean, I'm not sure yet. Let's see. I'll see how it goes.
yeah. And thanks for being on the show. Hope that we can have more girl talk. So just another shout out to Candle in the Wind, Dreams of a Daughter. The cover is changed. It's second edition. If you go onto Amazon to actually purchase the book, this is I should say, a written tribute to my late mom, who's gone home to the Lord in October 2015. So this year is the N plus 1 year. So it's the 11th year. Um, of her passing. 10 plus 1, I think it's 11 years. Yeah. So Candle in the Wind, Dreams of Daughter, it's a poetry. It's full of poetry, prose that is written in real time. And of course, Dreams of a Daughter, because I wrote about my dreams, my communications with her, and how she appeared in my dreams and some of the things that happen in my dreams. So I hope that people can actually read this. And in the past, Prita, just to also update you, I did an international summit for humanity on crossing the chasm. So crossing the chasm means people cross from one stage of their lives to another stage of their lives, right? So that was really meaningful. I did that in 2023. So again, a shout out to the book Candle in the Wind, Dreams of a Daughter, written by myself over a period about between 3 to 5 years, major 3 years, but the last part 5 is just very little, but something that I had to offload off the inner part of my soul because it there are some things words just can't say and your mouth just can't speak. So that's why music, poetry, art is so important for you to actually balance your soul and for people who are fighting out there, screaming out there, you have to find an outlet um, and not fight among each other. I hope that peace prevail amongst different people, different places, because at the end of the day, Prita, no matter whom we are, we all return to the ground, don't we, Prita?
Agree.
Yeah. So, Prita, thank you so much. Look out for radio show It's My Life, the 3 a.m. conversation you wish you could have had. Prita, thank you so much for being here and being such a gracious co host and for you to be able to share some of your travel journeys and your stories with the audience. Thank you so much. And
Thank
those
you
of
so
you who are still
much.
looking at us here, you've got Prita over there. Prita, would you like to say goodbye?
Okay, bye bye, everyone. Have a good night. Have a
And
good week
I'm
also.
signing off. Singapore, it's 10:37 p.m., 23rd of June 2025. Thank you so much for being with us. And I just hope that everyone can just calm down, take a step back, and take a deep breath. And then, there are so much more similarities in people, in humanity.